Yes, sir. So, bros, in this tired ass segment of CNN of ESPN, because whenever you see this chick, Angela Rye, we don't know her for talking about anything else besides women's rights, black girl magic, Democratic Party, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, white supremacy, CNN, MSNBC. The list goes on. Now she's here talking about sports. She's a special correspondent. I guess she's here to talk about race related issues in sports, predominantly the NFL and the NBA, because that's where the brothers at. That's where the brothers are oppressed by their owners, quote unquote. Yo, this is a joke, man. ESPN is tired, but bros, when you go woke, ain't no half stepping. You got to go all the way. But with all of the pandering that ESPN and the NFL does, they got to understand that the woke, the mob, they're never going to be pleased. Women are never going to be pleased. You got to do right by women. You got to believe all women. You got to get this man out of there. 6 games is not enough in their eyes. The NFL is always worried about their image. That's why they brought in a third party, Sue Robinson, who happens to be an older woman. Review this case, and she felt like 6 games was sufficient. Now, is the NFL going to appeal that? That's a bad look. But we're going to hear what Angela Rye has to say about this situation, because she's going to let us know what women think about this situation. As if you're walking in the bar or the sports bar, you're going to the bathroom, you're going outside, whatever. You walk past a group of women, you overhear any of them say anything about this Desaun Watson case, how it's sloppy, which it is? Of course not, because they got other things to worry about. But ESPN, they got to go with the pandering. So we're going to hear this on Woke Take because it's a slow week. They want to talk about what women think, how women feel about this situation. Let's hear it out.
How do you feel like women fans of the NFL should view the Watson ruling?
Well, I suspect that there are women on both sides of this issue, but I can tell you there were women fans reacting harshly to a guaranteed $230 million contract received by Desaun Watson while all of this was still ongoing. And so when you look at the ways in which the NFL has doled out punishments, both around the personal conduct policy and
just like a liberal chick, bro. They want to bring up the paper. You worried about the man's pockets instead of the allegations, instead of the woman. What about the sisters? Were any sisters involved? You want to talk about the money, the guaranteed paper. You're not talking about if he was charged. This is supposed to be a woke sister that loves her black men, that's down for her black men. Remember, BLM, they support criminals, bros. So I wonder why they're not doing their due diligence, or they're not wondering why the timing is off, how this looks sloppy. Houston, they settled with all the accusers. They're not bringing that into play. They're not bringing up anything. They just want to bring up his paper. No doubt.
Else, from gambling to domestic abuse, this is different. We have an individual here who was sued by 25 women. One woman dropped her lawsuit after the judge indicated that she would have to be named. 20 of those lawsuits.
So what does that tell you? You got a chick that didn't want to be named. Bros, this is nothing but one of those lawsuits that you might get a letter in the mail asking if you were here at this time frame, something like that, so you could jump in and get the money grab. People want to talk about Desaun settling. Bros, majority of people that get involved in the criminal justice system, they settle for a lesser charge. They pay a fine. They do something to give back to the community, to that city, whatever you want to call it, because it's a charge. That's it. Desaun Watson, he has to settle to make this go quicker. The season starts in about a month and a half. And when people saw that the Browns traded away Baker Mayfield, you should have understood that the suspension is going to be at least 8 games or lower.
And settled by Desaun Watson, and were settled in June. 3 more of those this morning. And so I think that there are some questions about what will it take if the most important thing to the NFL are the economics, or if it is how women fans perceive its ability to believe all women.
We can't believe all women. And bros, just understand that on these liberal networks, they're always going to bring a liberal black woman as the woman pit bull to attack the male's image. Predominantly the black male's image in whatever space. Now they want to bring it to sports. Now they want to see who's going to be the woman Stephen A. Smith. Who's going to attack these brothers so that they could say whatever they want to say and get no backlash? Because the men, they treat them as gods anyway with the magic they got. Just understand and just notice that. Angela Rye is supposed to be down with BLM. She's never talking about the criminal charges, I promise you. I'm going to let it play, though.
To protect women who have encountered some of their players. And I think, again, the most damning thing here is the fact that he received this historic guaranteed contract in the midst of all of this, and the ways in which the Browns structured his deal, which is to say that in this first year, when they expected a suspension,
homegirl, you are doing nothing but regurgitating what people have been saying since the contract became open to the public. You are regurgitating what every Twitter head that is on NFL Network, ESPN, that does fantasy football, everybody that's involved in the football party. You are regurgitating everything that they're saying. You're not saying anything new. So what is she here for, bros? To talk about the money? To talk about how much he's guaranteed? How does she know that? She's talking about the way that she's talking about the structure of the contract, but she's not really talking about the nature of the case. She's not talking about a woman reviewed this case. We got to talk about believing all women. We can't do that. We see where believing all women has gotten us. Yo, it's got us in a damn dumpster fire. You got people laying up in prison cells that don't have the light of a Brittany Griner to bring light to their situation. Wrongfully accused. They get money for the time they spent behind bars. That money does not amount to the time you spent behind bars, the experiences that you missed out on. So not only is Desaun Watson getting his character attacked, I don't see anybody talking about maybe does this man have a sickness? Does he have an addiction? He's got to have a problem. I don't know. You got people that get praised for slaying a lot of these thoughts, talk about it in songs. But when there's allegations being brought up, and of course we got to take them serious, but then we got to really bring everything into play. No charges were filed. We don't have to say that enough until we're blue in the face. We already know that. But really, what is Angela Rye here for?
Desaun Watson's base salary would be a mere $1 million, but his bonus would be $45 million. And for each year after that, he would receive a $46 million base salary. It tells you that they're going to find a way around the suspension before it's even doled out. And I think that's something else that the league has to wrestle with in totality, not just the Cleveland Browns, not just Desaun Watson, not just his legal representation, because there is something very shady about that appearance. And it can be infuriating for those.
There's something very shady about your appearance on the CNN of sports. We just don't get it. We already know that they're pandering. We already know. But why are you here? You're saying the same things that we've heard 3 months ago or whenever the contract was signed.
Of us who may have encountered someone via sexual misconduct or worse, sexual assault, which we know some of the lawsuits alleged.
Knowing that, the NFL now has 3 days if they do want to appeal. Do you think that the NFL should appeal this ruling?
I don't know. I think that what we do know is the NFLPA has said that they will not appeal this ruling. From reports, the NFL indicated that they wanted to suspend Desaun Watson for 12 games and fine him up to $8 million. So if they want women fans to take them seriously, to ensure that we all see when people act in ways that are unbecoming in violation of the personal conduct policy, that there actually is a suspension and a penalty for that what has been done, that conduct. And right now, it looks like it's kind of a slap on the wrist. It really does.
I wanted to let that play because she said a whole lot of nothing. She's just a puppet like she is on CNN, the regular one, the original. Just here to talk about nothing and attack the black male's image. He's guilty. He wasn't proven innocent, even though 2 grand juries, we already know the story. What is she here for? She hasn't brought up black woman once. Why not? She's talking about all women because you got to talk about the collective. It's not about a person or a case-to-case basis. It's a whole collective now. You got to worry about all women. You got to believe all women when we know we can't do that. Angela Rye was just here to talk about old talking points, bros. These liberal chicks that are out here talking about I love my black men, bro. They're not for you. Not all, but most. She's here on Woke Center to talk about nothing, bros. Those days of turning on ESPN and just letting it play, those days are done. Angela Rye was up there talking about white supremacy and January 6th and shedding tears. Yo, like, she didn't say anything in support of Desaun Watson. Because they not there to support you, bros. A good amount of these chicks, they're going to choose that paper over you. You better be woke on that note. Instead of being woke, march in the streets with no answers. Them days of watching ESPN are long gone. They bringing up these tired chicks up here to talk about what everybody's talking about in the liberal media, bro. Nobody's playing devil's advocate. Nobody's asking any other questions about why did the Houston Texans settle with all of the accusers. We want to talk about Desaun Watson's pockets because the liberal black woman, not all, but most in America, especially in the West, they're only worried about their paper. That's what they really can control, how they get that. And they're going to step all over you, black man, to get that. Just pay attention. They got these chicks up here tired. Where's Taylor Rooks? Where's Cassidy Hubbarth? Where's the highlights? They're not talking about an older woman reviewed the case at all. I digress though, man. Bros, man, just pay attention, man. These liberal black females that's out here in the spaces talking about our black men, protect black men, the injustices, police, defund the police and all of that shit, man. Listen, bros, don't fall for the okie doke. Well, it's enough of that. This tired ass chick Angela Rye up here, just being a puppet in another space, man. Here to talk about race relating and race baiting. Come on, man. She's always gonna take the woman's side. I promise you. It's enough of that. I'm out.